It's time. It's time. It's time. Hello everyone and welcome to the video. With Wicked Part 2 coming out, I've decided I'm going to try making Glinda's Dancing Through Life library dress. When I saw Part 1 last year, I was telling my friend as we were leaving the theater that I needed to make that dress. So after a while of searching online, I finally found a fabric that is very similar to it. The original dress was, I believe, a silk organza that they embroidered on top of. And so finding this fabric, I was very, very happy because I do not have an embroidery machine. I wanted this dress so badly. I did find clips of them making this dress on Instagram, the actual people who embroidered it. So I will leave a link down to that below if you wanted to see that for yourself. The dress is fairly straightforward. It looks to be a circle skirt and then just a sweetheart bodice with the bubble fabric over top of it and then the crisscross over the bust and shoulders and then going around to the back. So we're gonna see how this goes. I have ordered the fabric. It finally came in. I got the dye for it. Unfortunately, the fabric is not cotton like it said in the ad. So it is a little bit of a hiccup, but let's switch to the dyeing footage. It is dyeing day. It's really hard to see it in the light, but here is our starting fabric, or at least a little sample of it. I've cut several little swatches that I can test in the fabric to see what is going to work to get it to the pink that I want it to get to. That's what we want this to get to. So we'll see how this goes. I have got my water heating up right now, and once that gets to 200 Fahrenheit, then it should be good to go, and then I just have to keep it at 200 Fahrenheit while I am dyeing the fabric. Now, the reason I need to keep it at 200 the entire time I am dyeing it is because this is not a cotton fabric like the website said it was. So this is in fact a polyester. When I did the burn test, this fabric definitely melted. So that is unfortunate. I could tell kind of, like if you look close up, you can see the fibers are, is it gonna focus? So you can see the fibers are, they're polyester. Even just looking at them you can tell, but I did do the burn test just so I could make sure that I was 100%. Anyways, this is my sample. I've got several of these cut out, and then we're just gonna experiment. Also, if I haven't mentioned before, when you are dyeing fabrics, make sure you are not using pots that you plan to cook with later on. This kind of is a straight across the board safety warning. Don't use utensils, don't use pots, don't use measuring things, anything that you plan on cooking with later on, because it is a safety hazard. So that is just putting that out there. If you are planning to dye stuff, get a pot that is just designated for dyeing, along with dyeing utensils, dyeing measuring sticks, anything, wooden spoons, anything that you plan on dyeing with. Don't let it be used for food again because it's just not safe. Alright, safety talk aside, let's get to dyeing. It started raining now, so you get a little bit of a nature sounds. Oh, that is very pink. Okay, I don't know if you can see this or not. Let me see if I can make this darker. Nope, that's lighter. This just ate up the dye. It absorbed it super fast. So I'm kind of nervous to throw my fabric in, but this is after it's been washed and dried. It is quite a bit darker than my sample fabric that I want to put underneath, but I think this is what we're just gonna have to go with. So I'm gonna have to try and dunk this super fast and then get it out and wash it as fast as I can so it doesn't absorb a lot of dye. So we're gonna go with this. Okay, I have one shot to do this. It's literally dunk it in and rip it out and hope for the best. So here we go. Okay. Success-ish. So I like how the lace came out, but when I compare it to the lining now, it is a slight bit more candy-ish and vibrant. So I think I need to try and dye the lining. So this is my dye swatch. I dyed it to the correct color. I dried it. It looked great with the lining or the lace. So now I've pre-wetted this again so I can try and make my fabric match this color. So wish me luck. Okay, let's find the end of this. Okay. Still going back. And so long as I keep it moving, theoretically it should not get splotchy. But I also need to make sure that all the fabric is taking in the dye. Success! Awesome! Oh my goodness, I think it came out perfect. My ISO is turned up to like 1600 right now because it gets dark at 2 p.m. But I think this came out amazing. This is definitely a touch darker than I wanted, but it's much better than it was before. Oh my goodness, it worked. It worked. I love it! The fabric did come out really nicely. I love the color. It is slightly a little bit more like bubblegum pinky than I was hoping, but for how quickly the dye took, I am very happy that I was able to achieve this color. And the lining came out not too bad either. And so I think it'll work what we're going for. The pattern or the dress looks like it is a circle skirt. When you look at the clips of her moving, the dress does flip up like a circle skirt does. And so I think what I'm going to do is possibly cut this into 6 pieces, but we're going to have to kind of maneuver it to see how I can get the pieces all pointing down and all meeting nicely at the waist. I do have 5 yards of this fabric, so hopefully that's enough. It's not too long of a circle skirt, like it literally hits the knee. I've already kind of been playing around with this. Let me just move the camera. I'm actually using the same mock-up that I used for my last dress as well, just changing the design lines of the bodice to match the kind of clamshell effect we've got going on here. It is a little Ariel-esque at the moment, but I like how this is looking. I'm gonna just have to play around with it and see how this all comes together. Alright, enough of me playing around. Let's get to sewing. So after cutting out the skirt, this is what I have left to cut out the bodice and the lining and the crossover strappy bits. I may be cutting it a bit tight. We shall see. Okay, first mock-up. This is fitting pretty good. The straps keep wanting to fall off my shoulder. So I think I am going to move them ever so slightly in. That may interfere with the sleeve design, but I would rather have straps that stay on my shoulders and the sleeve design being a little bit different than the film. Also, in the film, she is wearing a corset. I am not wearing a corset right now. I might make one in the future, and then we'll see how that goes, but yeah, this just keeps falling off. I think I am happy moving forward. No, I'll make the changes to the back, and I'll move the straps in just slightly, and then we'll go from there and move forward with the real deal. Much better. They're not sliding off anymore. I moved them in just half an inch. This still is a little bit funny, but I think once I have the skirt on there, it'll pull down the wrinkles. A little tester here. Alright, that goes in the center. These go up here. Oh yeah, this is gonna be so pretty. So it has actually been a couple weeks since I filmed that last clip. I actually fell down my front steps and gave myself a second-degree sprain on my ankle. So I'm moving a little slower, and because of this, I am definitely not going to be hitting the deadline for opening weekend. And so I'm going to try and do the best I can, and we'll see how quickly I can get this dress done. So let's get back to it. Alright, you guys, we have reached a little bit of a predicament. I don't have enough fabric to do a full circle skirt, which is really unfortunate. I'm just trying to figure out how to make this work. Essentially, I can do 5 panels going the correct direction. If I ignore directionality, I can make this one fit here. My perfectionism is making me very, very angry right now. Either I make the skirt not as full, and so then it's not a full circle skirt, it would probably be a half circle skirt, but then the shells don't line up properly along the bottom, or I flip one of the skirt panels and show the shells are going the wrong direction, but then I get the full circle skirt. I don't know. It also really doesn't help that I want to get this dress done by tomorrow, and I don't think that's gonna happen. Okay, I'll figure something out. I think I've figured out what I'm gonna do. I can get the front of the skirt cut out, so those will be good. The back, I'm going to cut into 2 panels, and then the 2 side pieces, I am going to kind of Frankenstein together. Half of it will be going the right direction, and then the other half I'm going to have to kind of sew together to create a second pattern piece. I think this will work. I really hope I'm not making a mistake because it's midnight right now. But let's get to cutting, and we're just gonna go with it. Make sure these are perfectly lined up. All right, I'm cutting. There's no going back. Oh, that's so pretty. Opening this up. I just have to finish, I guess, zigzagging these pieces back together, and then I can cut out the back pieces. But yeah. Oh, it's so good. Okay, I need to go to bed though because it's 1 in the morning. So I need to make this shell lie over top of this, so I need to cut through here to make it all pretty. Probably work better if I actually have the bodice on myself before I start attaching the lace, just to make sure it's all lying correctly. But theoretically, that should work like that, and then I just have to zigzag it down to keep its shape. Yeah. Alright, I'm going to do the same on this side. So next up, I need to create little areas to cover up the extra lining I have here. So I've cut out a shell, and essentially I am just going to tuck this in, trying to just cover things up best I can. Just pin that back there. And this is going to go down here. And now I just want to pin the lace to each other and then I can sew that in place. Like once I like it, I'm just gonna weave these pins in, and then theoretically, once I stitch around the edges, this should just kind of blend into the fabric. It's already kind of doing that. Alright, so I was able to get this far. Oh, I'm stuck. I was able to get it this far to go see the movie, which, here's the clip. It was very much a rush job at the end. So I'm going to take this apart now to where I started rushing, fix my mistakes, and then continue on to finish the dress properly. And oh my goodness, you guys, it was a rush job. The zipper on the back of this thing is horrendous. I think I had less than a minute to get this zipper in before I was heading out the door to go see this film. So I just literally threw something in. It was not great. It was a mad dash there at the end to get this done in time. Which, oh my goodness, the film was delightful. Jonathan Bailey's notes during As Long As You're Mine were divine. Oh my goodness. But yeah, now I'm gonna take this apart as carefully as I can and try and finish her properly. When I was originally planning this dress, I was planning on using the lining fabric to make the little strappy bits, and unfortunately I did not have enough fabric to do that, and so I ended up using a very thin elastic that just happened to be the right color in my stash. So thank goodness for having lots of things in my stash because we don't have a fabric store nearby, so I wasn't able to pick anything up. So I ended up just getting some elastic and I cut it to the right length and then just kind of worked my way around the bodice, just pinning it in place. To hide the raw edges of my elastic, I actually unpicked a small portion of my strap and then shoved the elastic end inside and then pinned it and re-sewed it in place. I just felt like this was the cleanest option for finishing it this way, and it also actually helped keep these straps on my shoulders as well. Once all the elastics were in place, I then attached a facing to the inside of the bodice, and this just helped keep everything nice and tidy. Ta-da! It's not completely done yet. Well, obviously, but the straps, I sewed one side a little too high compared to the other. Also, the bodice is slightly fitting funny, but I don't have the correct bra on right now, so it is what it is. Anyways, this will go on over top. I think it's looking really good. I do need to think bring this side down a little bit. I mixed up the marks, or the lower one on this side is the same side as the upper one, is the same height as the upper one on this one. So I need to fix that. Alright, there you go. So you can see the difference. This bottom strap here is the same height as this upper one. So I'm going to change that. Do I actually like this side better? Oh. No, I like the lower side. I'm going to do it to the lower side. Anyways, let's continue. The way I have to put on the lace is kind of interesting because it's both an overlay and it is combined within the seams. So I'm kind of melding it together. I still want to put lining on the inside as well, but because I've got the facing, that should make that a little bit easier. This side I've already kind of tacked and pinned in place, so this lace essentially just needs to be sewn. And now it's time to work on this side. So first things first, I am just gonna kind of really loosely, and I mean really loosely, baste the lace on. Essentially this is just basting the top portion of the lace, and then once that is done, then I can go through and pin the rest of the fabric, or rest of the lace overlay to the under bodice. That way I have kind of like a more firm foundation to sew off of if it's partially sewn, and then I can just pin from there. Next, I'm going to secure this side first. Don't put pins in my mouth. My kids keep reminding me, and I'm trying to break the habit, and it is so hard. Okay, 1, 2, 3. So from here, just gonna kind of pin the fabric in so it's nice and smooth. And because this lace does have a little bit of stretch, it will kind of mold to the body a lot easier. There we go. I think I'm happy with that. The back is on, it's looking good. I'm liking how it's looking. Now it's time to put the front on. I really hope this works. Get the center pinned first. With the lace attached to the bodice, it was time to attach the circle skirt and finish it off. I think I have come up with a pretty ingenious plan to keep the straps all together, and that is this clear, I guess you'd call it elastic. What I'm gonna do is place this underneath the straps and then just tack each strap to the elastic. It's clear, it won't be that noticeable, and then it'll just have a few stitches on the top. So I'm just going to lay that there and then make sure these are all facing the correct way. That should be enough room. Yes, that looks good. Let me measure the other side so I can keep it looking even. This one I've already pinned, and it is 3.5 centimeters. So this is a little bit more than that. 3.5 centimeters. Alright, I'm going to pin these all in place and then just stitch them, and hopefully this works. There we go. Stays together nicely. It looks good. Yes, success. Now the movie's costume, the sleeves look like it is done in 3 parts. So they have the 1, the 2, and then they have a third piece going over the shoulder. Theirs are a lot more long and mine are a lot more circular, so I don't need the third piece going over the shoulder. And so essentially what I'm doing, this is the outside, and this is going to be like this. By just offsetting it slightly like this one, it gives me a little bit more room around the shoulder. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to stitch these around here, and then for this one, sew across to there, and then I can attach the sleeves, and we'll just go from there. Alright, you guys, I have a couple more items to do to finish off this dress. I need to attach the sleeves, I need to finish attaching these elastics, and I need to finish off the facing and tack down the seam allowance for the zipper. So I'm going to do that off camera, and I will see you guys in the reveal. Toss, toss. Toss, toss. I am so proud of how this dress came out. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice or not, but I am a little bit sick right now, so I'm going to make this short and sweet. Thank you so much for watching this video. There was definitely a couple hiccups along the way. I did not get pockets added into it, but because it is a 6-paneled circle skirt and the side seams line up, I'm going to add pockets in the future. So if you want a short on how I did that, let me know down below. Also, I rated my daughter's hair accessories and found this little butterfly, and I thought it was perfect for Glinda. So I'm quite happy with that touch. This is of course my last video for the year, so I hope you all have a lovely New Year's. And one more for the show. Toss toss! Alright guys, I'll see you next year. Bye! Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. That was very princessy. What am I doing? Move you out of the way, Miss Judy. Y'all, I tried to learn the dancing through live dance that is all on TikTok. I'm not good at it. So if anyone has some tips for learning the song or learning the dance, leave them down below because I would love to film something with me in this dress because I want to wear this dress all the time right now. It's so cute. I love it. I love it. Let me know what you think of my real backdrop. None of this AI stuff here. Nope, not on this channel.